Why Gervonta Davis is a level above Ryan Garcia and will always be. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, the big homie Gervonta Tank Davis gave another interview. Million interviews, man, going around with these two guys. Fight's getting really close, man, and I'm real excited. I think it's going to be a good look for the sport of boxing. As far as the fight goes, I'm not very enthusiastic about the price range of the pay-per-view. I still think that they're, for lack of a better word, they are screwing the fans once again with the price range of these fights. We deserve a little bit better for the amount of support that we've given the sport over the past decade. The people who have stuck with the sport, the people who have stuck around, made content, try to make these guys remain relevant, even in the times where boxing is getting its butt kicked. Listen, I could have easily went and did basketball content and be getting 20,000 views per show. You know, I could do MMA content and I could have been getting 100,000 views per episode. You know, I could go do soccer content and probably be getting millions of views. Go do wrestling content and be getting thousands of views. But I stuck around with boxing for my few hundred views. I could have went back and did my fishing content and, you know, the cooking content that I was doing and still been getting views. But I stuck around with boxing. I love the sport. You know, I work out with the sport. I'm going to always be a fan of boxing. So it's kind of disheartening when these promoters and these executives make decisions like they do with the price ranges of these fights. And it makes you as a fan not even want to support these guys anymore. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. I just wanted to let that little rant out. As far as Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, and Ryan not really being on Gervonta's level, I think I did a video about a week ago. And I spoke about, you know, why I feel like Gervonta is on a whole nother level than Ryan Garcia. But I don't think I gave a full breakdown, detailed account of why I feel. It's not just the knockouts. I think a lot of people think it's just, well, Ryan Garcia doesn't have the spectacular knockouts like Tank. His knockouts don't come out of nowhere. They don't. What is it about Tank's knockouts that make them so dynamic? That make them just make you want to watch them? The Leo Santa Cruz knockout I think that's the one that really got me like, wow. Because it came out of nowhere. It did come out of nowhere. It was just like, boom, and it was over. And I think the fight was I don't think it was even. I think Gervonta was slightly winning in my aspect. But the knockout, it just came out of nowhere. And the way he threw the punch, the way the punch landed, and the way Leo was knocked out, I think that's what made it so dynamic. Even the Mario Barrios knockout was something that was so spectacular. It's exciting to watch, man. It's exciting boxing. And that's what people want. People want that excitement. People want to be entertained to the fullest, especially if you're paying this type of dollar amount. This is my problem with the price of the fight. It's the fact that if this fight turns out to be a stalemate like the Maypac fight, then we just basically pay for nothing. Yeah, you'll get a winner, and you know there'll be a victor in the fight. There was a victor in the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, even though the fight sucked and everybody got their money taken.
Leonard a bitch-ass nigga too.
Somebody still won the fight, but it was a crappy fight. And if this fight turns out to be a crappy fight just because the talent levels are higher than what we even thought, then I think a lot of people will stand to be seriously disappointed with this fight, and it's gonna give boxing another black eye.
You don't disrespect me like that.
Man, shut up. You ain't with me.
This is the reason I advocate for them to drop the prices down to make it a lot more competitive with other sports. You know, basketball, they basically give away their content. You don't have to pay to watch the championships ever for basketball or football. You know, and it's normally not even on cable TV. You can watch it on regular TV, and that's why those sports are winning. When they made boxing pay to be entertained, I can't use the other word. Pay to be entertained is where they messed up the sport. All those Ali fights, those fights wasn't on pay-per-view, but I'm going off on a whole nother tangent. As far as, being on that level, why is Gervonta Davis that much more talented than Ryan Garcia? I think it's a host of things, really. And some of them don't even have nothing to do with boxing. The guy's personality, his personality makes him a step above. Ryan Garcia is very famous on Instagram, but I think when you have the backing of the hood or the people, Ryan Garcia has the backing of Instagram, and that's a whole different audience. Gervonta Davis has the streets. He's a guy who can have regular people like him because he's so, I think, regular. He seems like just such a regular guy that I think the average everyday person can connect with Gervonta. Where Ryan, he seems more like an Instagram model and not somebody you would really be hanging out with on a day-to-day. But Gervonta, he seems like the type of guy, hey, I could go hang out with Gervonta Davis. And then his boxing skills, the way he's knocking people out, like I explained earlier, is so dynamic that it's very entertaining to watch. Then you got his personality, the portion of his personality to where he's very likable by the hip-hop crowd. I think Ryan Garcia, he can get down with the hip-hop crowd, but once again, he's more like a supermodel than a everyday person. So it would be hard for the average person to say that they could go, chill with a guy like Ryan Garcia. He doesn't seem like the type of person who would even entertain an average person on the day-to-day as far as, hey, let's go chill out and do some, regular people stuff. Just the talent levels. I feel like Gervonta has fought better competition than Ryan, and Ryan, he's got great knockouts on his resume. He's got, good boxing skill. He's been around the sport his whole life. But his competition level, I don't think, is on the same plateau as Gervonta Davis. And I think that's for a lot of people. I think a lot of people feel the same way, that it's just the competition levels that make him a step above or a level above. And it's the reason I feel like this fight, I keep bringing up the price range of this fight. And, the fact that Gervonta is so much more talented than Ryan Garcia. So why is this fight costing so much? I think if there's an if factor to it, to where he might lose. If he loses, then I guess you could justify that price range because they can say, well, it was one of the best fights of the year. But I don't think it's going to end up that way. I think it's going to be more of the same. Gervonta Davis is just way more talented than him. So why am I having to pay this absorbed price for a fight I can say 90% that Gervonta Davis is going to win? It just doesn't make any sense at this point, man. And I feel like it's unfair to the fan, to the sport, and the whole pay to be entertained aspect of boxing needs to go away. I think it's what's hurting the sport. And this is where I'm going to end it. I think when wrestling took that pay-per-view model and made it extremely profitable, that's when everybody started running with it. And then I think even soccer, the overseas soccer, to watch some of those matches, you have to pay for them on pay-per-view, I believe. And when sports started taking that model, that pay-per-view model, is where it messed everything up. The reason basketball and football and baseball can thrive for year after year after year is because it's readily available to everybody. To watch basketball, you got to have cable. but a lot of this stuff is on basic cable still, and you can watch it without even having, a really good cable package. So that's why those sports are going to always thrive, and boxing is going to always seem like it's trying to make a comeback. It's because you're trying to force us to pay you for the product when it shouldn't be that way. And it's that way for one reason and one reason only. And for the people who made it this far, I'm pretty sure you know. It's because the promoters want to be paid extra for doing absolutely nothing. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tube. So holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, you can always hit my Gmail. It is flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are mine.
What you need? Fast or slow, girl, what's your speed? You handcuffed, I set you free. You a bad chick, I must say. Come with me, girl, right away. She want a double stack, no cheese, meaning other than the pill, I can get it for free. No fee, think it's MUD. OMG, LOL, SMH. You come with me, then you'll be straight. Don't give a damn, let the mother niggas hate. Turn around, let me concentrate. Yeah, they don't trip. I got what you need. 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 Damn, you cold and so's your friend. But she say they don't like me. Please don't act like you don't know. Style is genius, stupid flow. My ego so big you might park on it. Nowadays my style got bite marks on it. Great white shark, homie. You acting kinda strange, quite narc, homie. Move back, homie. I'm looking at that ass. She way past boning. Take her to the crib, have her way past moaning. I almost fell when she threw that ass on me. Don't trip. I got what you need.